Hey you guys, this is the One Piece King here today, and surprising news apparently about Pirate Warriors 4. Shoot, I'm trying to remember how many characters that we got that were, basically registered as new, at least for the game itself, but as in, the actual like playable characters for the whole, series itself. None of them were really new, really. We've already had them before. Like, in the last game, we already had them before. But for the fourth one, it's really just, like, hey, we announced like 4 or 5 of these characters to be new. Like new playable characters right here. It's like, okay. Um, so the new ones that we got was Chopper and Robin, Boa Hancock, and Law. Um, and I believe there was somebody else. I'll have to go back and check because I believe there were like 4 or 5. Because we had 2 Straw Hats and we had 2 randoms. Because Boa has her own crew, the Koja Pirates, and Law with the Heart Pirates. They're very, very different. Um, Technically, I already thought Law was going to be playable because when we got the announcement of Wano, for Pirate Warriors 4 and stuff, and even got to see the gameplay of Wano, with, Aokiji, Carrot, and Zoro as well. I got to see Law's, character also there, even though he was an NPC. I kind of just looked at him and I'm like, that's a legit, like that looks legit. Like he's gonna be playable, no doubt, and everything. Um, there were screenshots that actually showed, like what other moves do they have in the game. Um, with Choppers, really, it seemed more like, he still had, like, not still the same moves and stuff. I wish they could have removed one, which I hope that is an option to remove, because if it's not, I'm just gonna be like, But if it is, though, I'll be really cool with that. I would be like, awesome. That means that we don't have to have this move anymore. And, what the move is scope. And basically, in the last game, or at least I should say in all 3 of the games, we already had where his brain point, move scope was already in all 3. It wasn't that bad, so to say. Um, it was more like, it was more like just kind of just there because it was brain point, but then, for his new world costume, really, we got, we basically got brain point scope again with that, and I was like, he hasn't really used Brainpoint in the time skip that much. He's kind of relied on his own strength instead of being like, oh, Brainpoint, I have to scope, for the weakness, and then boom, like weak spot. I easily beat you. But he hasn't really done that anymore. He's more like uses other forms that, he's perfected and that he's, also created as well, because he created the new one called Kung Fu Point, which was actually shown a lot more in the screenshots for Chopper. Um, but I still saw scope in the screenshots for Chopper for his gameplay, and I was like, if that could be like changed out to where that doesn't have to be a move stuck on him, I would be fine with that. That'd be cool. But if not, I would be like, you can keep it for his pre-time skip self, but for his, his new world stuff, scope has to literally be removed. Like scope doesn't need to be there anymore. Can we please like have that? Because he doesn't really use scope in the new world. He doesn't use that. Um, so yeah, throwing Chopper out there because most of the screenshots we got to saw was Kung Fu Point. Which honestly I hope has a lot of new moves and everything. But I hope that with this moveset, it's not all about Kung Fu Point, because even though he's used it like decent amount of times, he's had his other ones to use too, like Heavy Point and all that. He's been using all the other ones too. But, I just hope Kung Fu Point doesn't become a huge eccentric because, like there was still other ones he still used too. It's very, very decent. Um, yeah. So now, to move on to Robin, Now, you remember in the last video how I was talking about with all the other Straw Hats moves and everything? I was thinking I was thinking for Robin, the little joke that they could have did where, Robin could have basically, did a little jump or something and she has like CN4 wing. And it would be funny, it would be funny and raging at the same time because saying like since we have the jump ability in the game, say like there was like a big old ledge right there and you're able to jump up there. Um, like it's like a double jump for some characters and everything. Robin, would have the double jump and she would have wing, and it's like you get so close to the ledge, but then bloop, like wing kind of just disappears, and it's like Robin, you're making me go all the way around. Like that would be funny. But in the screenshots though, I did notice that she had wing, and I was like, wow, okay. I mean, if wing is going to be for the jump, that's pretty cool, like unless that they're only doing like just one jumps or something, or unless with their jumps, it's more like some characters can jump really high, like Carrot, or some of them basically have like normal jumps, and then they would have to get another jump in the air. Like I don't know if they would allow double jumps or something, but if they did, I would believe Robin's double jump would be her jumping up like mid high once and then doing the double jump and doing wing, and that would make her float down, but only for a few seconds, and then bloop, like wing just disappears and she falls, you know. Which basically I would think that'd be hilarious as a little thing, but they did add wing in the game, and I was actually surprised about that because I called that out. I called that out in the last video. I said that Robin was definitely gonna have wing because if they didn't include it, I was literally about to be like, "You ruined an opportunity, Bandai. You ruined an opportunity to put a funny thing for Robin's character at least in the game because that's." Like every time I see Robin using wing, and I was watching the Thriller Bark arc like a few months ago because I was catching up on the episodes and everything. I need to catch up again, but yeah. But I was watching Thriller Bark, and the first time Robin ever used wing was in that arc. But the funniest thing though was that when she went to go and pick up Frankie and everything, Frankie's kind of looking at her. It's like, "Whoa, you can fly!" It's like, yeah, but this new technique or something that I just developed basically doesn't last very long. It only lasts for like a couple of seconds. And he's like, wow, that's really weak. Like that really sucks. And then, she gets them like a little bit high and everything, and, from falling and stuff. Like she gets them a little bit higher because I think the bridge like collapsed or something and they fell. But Frankie got them back up and everything on the bridge because he's a cyborg and all. But it was still funny with that how how Robin's like, yeah, this new technique I just developed really, I haven't really worked with this, so it only works a couple of seconds. So I'm sorry. It's like, wow, that power really sucks. Oh my god, it really was hilarious. Um, I mean, I had like they haven't really released the other ones in the English just yet. They're planning to, but I have noticed in the Punk Hazard arc that Robin does use wing in there as well. She does, but I think the difference with the time skip though was that she trained with that a little bit more, but it's still I think it would only work for a minute, really. I think wing would only work for a minute and then it depletes itself. I kind of forgot the time limit of what wing has going for her now and everything, but I believe if she really trained with it more, probably would have lasted for like a few minutes, really. Like wing would have lasted a while and then poop, like it would go gone, it'd disappear. Um, but that's Robin. I don't think she wanted to focus on flying because it's like, well, this was just random, but I just decided to create that. I mean, we're all random users anyway, so it's fine. But but yeah, though, I really thought that was actually nice and cool that I called that out in the last video, and then like 3 days later, we're getting the scans of it because I checked, I checked whenever I made like my last video, and it was 3 days ago. 3 days later, I look at the, like I look at the news, and because I was on Twitter, and I looked at the news that my friends were sending out, and there were like 4 to 5 new playable characters besides Barto and Cavendish, which I discussed in the last one. We had Robin and Chopper, Boa Hancock, and Law, and I can't remember who the fifth one was. It probably was four. But apparently though, yeah, whenever I saw in the screenshots that Robin, does have wing whenever she's like, whenever she was with a group of people or something, she was actually in the air with wing, and like I said, I called that out. I was like, yes, it's like that had to happen, and I was right. Wing came in the game finally. They had an opportunity to do that in the third game, which would have been funny, but they just didn't decide to do that. It was like, no, like you got some, like you got some combos that would get characters in the air, but you can't stay in the air. Like you can't actually jump. The X button is for dashing and dashing only. It's like, ugh, like that's terrible. Um, but anyway, though, moving off of Robin though, because I called that out. We move on to Boa Hancock, and I was looking at the screenshots of her too. Um, I don't think I saw anything new with Boa really. It was more like she had some of the same techniques from the third game. I really wish that they gave her some new ones and stuff because Boa's power potential is really something so different. Like Boa really has the strength and everything. She's got hockey for days. Like that woman is like, has all three types, and she's really powerful. It's just, you know, it's just Boa really, they kind of nerfed her down in a lot of the games that she gets put in. They nerfed her powers down, and it's like, no. It's like, Boa's a lot more than what you think. Like, she's a lot more, alright? Like, that woman should not be nerfed. Her power is off the charts, okay? She has the literal power to turn you into stone just by looking at the woman. Like, can you not tell me that is not the most overpowering thing ever? Like, literally. I mean, if you're like Luffy, where you're oblivious and not really caring much about, females or something, or just her in general, then yeah, you would basically be like, the power doesn't work on me, your power sucks, you know. But for a lot of other people, it's like, okay, like that's a devastating power, the power of love apparently, or the power of, the power of something, like, y'all can like comment down below of what you think the power really is, I mean, for a lot of you that know, One Piece like I do and everything, like know the knowledge of it and know about Boa Hancock of what her power is, a lot of y'all would say the power of love because that's what it is. But in all reality, though, you know exactly what that real power is. But yeah, though I really didn't see nothing really new about Boa and everything. I hope that she gets new techniques because, like I said, they really nerfed her down in the games and they shouldn't. So let's hope that if we ever get another trailer or some gameplay footage of Boa Hancock and everything, like legit, people playing the game and they play as Boa Hancock and stuff, I legit hope that, Boa actually has some new moves and everything. I mean, she has, like, she'll jump in the air now and everything because it's a jump ability. So I hope that maybe she'll get some, new moves in the air, like some new aerial combos, because most of the aerial combo moves and everything that we have for some characters aren't even that bad. They're actually pretty good. So yeah, we'll see where Boa really goes. We'll see where she goes with that and everything. And then the last one that we go to with Law at the moment, I believe there was only 4, because I'll have to go back and check and everything, and, probably make a comment down below. Yeah, like, make a comment down below, basically, kind of discussing, like, oh yeah, there was this last other character I missed, because I knew there were 5, but I'll leave the name down below, and then, I'll tell you all, like, what I saw in the screenshots with that one, and that'll be it, basically, like, that's all I'll have to send as, One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 news, because that's all we got, really, so far. Um, but Law though, it was confirmed that both the pre-time skip and the post-time skip Law will, definitely be playable and everything. Like the costumes will be different. Um, I mean, I kind of looked at it like, okay, that's decent enough. That's cool. It's just, whenever some characters get from like the pre-time skip and the post-time skip with their costumes, a lot of those should also have changes to them too, especially with the Straw Hat crew, because they went through many costume changes throughout, throughout like a lot of the arcs and everything, and there were some that actually, well, at least throughout all three of the games, their costumes haven't really changed to match the arc that they're in. The only one mainly that did that was Luffy's, and I kind of looked at that, and I'm like, no. It's like, look, I know my boy Luffy is the star of the show, but you're forgetting about his entire crew, too. I mean, for God's sakes, like, for the pre-time skip for Zoro, they had him wearing his Enies Lobby outfit for three games. Okay? Literally, 3 games. Even though the second one was a completely off-base story, it was its own story, like a filler story, but as like a DLC or I guess some kind of unlockable that you can get and everything, either by DLC reasons or you actually have to buy it or something, like buy it with the berry money that you get in the game and get the costumes that way. But it also legit was still the same costume that he was wearing in the first one and also in the third one later on. And I did discuss this in a video and everything that costumes is a must. It is. Because, whenever I look at his costume and I look at the rest of the other ones, Zoro's was kind of the one that really just, I mean, Nami's too, don't get me wrong, Nami's too, but Zoro's was just, you know, because the only real differences that they gave him was, he'll have new swords on him and everything. You'll notice that if you change the costumes and stuff, the swords will be different. And you'll also notice the tiny little details that will add on him too, like the scar on his, or the stitch scar around his chest, and like the stitch scar around his chest and everything, and then until you get to the new world, you see the eye and everything, but so far though, that's really all what he got and everything was just small little details, and it wasn't even anything like too much important really. That's why I looked at it like, okay, y'all are screwing around here and everything, because Zoro is way much more. Like this boy, went through so much stuff, throughout the entire series, and you cannot tell me that you just want to go and skip all the costumes that he had. You don't want to skip that, And, that's legit making me think, like, okay, if they do this in the fourth game, basically, I think I said this in the last video, basically, if Bandai, really wanted to give us a survey or something, because they did it for a Hero Nobody Knows whenever the beta released out and everything, and, now people are saying, like, this is what you need to do, to make the game good, to make it better, so that way people won't hate it whenever, it officially releases out and everything. So, they're gonna try and do that, then they're gonna release the game, and then there you go. With Pirate Warriors 4, I really hope they do the same thing, because I mean, I don't hate it. I'm really excited for it to come out and everything, like I was, like, back in, I believe it was, like, around, like, August or September. It was around there whenever the game was officially being announced that, hey, Pirate Warriors 4, it's coming out in, 2020, next year. And so I got excited for that. I was like, yes! About time. We got Pirate Warriors 4 content coming in now. Like, that's awesome, I've been waiting for Pirate Warriors 4, because I knew the game wasn't done yet, because the series is still going, but, but then whenever, it got around the line where there was, like, more content coming in, and, like they were announcing what they were gonna do for it, as for like story wise and for some characters at least. I went to go and look at all that, and I don't know. I was being a bit in with it. I was being a bit like 50% liking the game. I mean, I still like it, but at the same time, it's like I'll see where it goes with this, like whether if I like it or not. Um, because honestly, though, costumes most definitely a must for the game because they haven't really done the right ones for like 3 games. It's time to make a change with the fourth one. Like, come on. Um, and the story wise too. But they already announced that the story. It was in a interview about the story, just starting from Alabasta all the way to Wano, and I'm not really liking that. I mean, I know that they did it from like the very beginning, from the Romance Dawn all the way to Dressrosa in the last one, but at least that wasn't so bad because at least we got to go from the beginning all the way to there, you know? Like, literally, make Pirate Warriors 4 the biggest, like, hype game of the year. Like, make it the biggest, one ever. I mean, of course, there will be a fifth one, probably to, legit end the whole Pirate Warriors series in general with a fifth one. Um, but at this rate, though, just, for now, make the fourth one legit the best one ever, with a longer story, that you can actually experience the longest story in a game, period. Um, or at least for a One Piece game, period. And basically just kind of, put a lot of content in there, okay? Don't miss a single detail, That might take a lot of time, I understand, but I mean, like I said, make it the biggest game of the year, because if you do, or I mean, biggest game, biggest One Piece game doesn't make any difference really because people would want to buy it if that's what they did. I would, most certainly buy it. I would be like, getting that game, gonna, play it on my PS4, gonna test it out, and I would give it like a 10 out of 10 rating if that's what it was. I would be like, costumes are all correct. Story content is all correct. Nothing is missed. We got a lot of new characters and everything. Some of them, like some of them weren't playable, and I guess, like I would look at some of them and everything, the ones that aren't playable, but they were like NPCs. I would look at them and be like, well, some of them make sense because we haven't really seen them much in the series and stuff. Like, I mean, I did make a list basically like way long back and everything before Pirate Wars 4 started giving us all these characters. And I did say Foxy, to also be, one of the characters to be playable. But then I looked back at it and I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe. Foxy is a maybe. Like, he's a maybe right now because now looking back at it, it's like, yeah. But but if he becomes legit playable and everything, at least, the way that they're doing it now, I'm gonna look at him and be like, well, can't argue with that. I said maybe, so, it was like a 50-50 chance that it would be like, well, he wasn't relevant, but why not? Just throw him in there and be like, yay, Foxy's playable. Now you can do all the stuff he does. But but yeah, but characters like him and a few other ones, I would be like, okay, it makes legit sense that we haven't seen them so long in the story that that's why they're not playable. But given to an example of like Bellamy or Bon Clay, I would say they should be playable because we've actually seen them a lot more. And even though we haven't got too much huge background on them, like kind of their stories, it's kind of like, you kind of get the idea of it where, with Bellamy, he trusted, Dofi, he looked up to him for so long, but then he realized he trusted the wrong man, like he trusted the wrong person. So by the end of Dressrosa, he became somebody different. He became, someone that would follow Luffy in the end, which I hope that's the route he's going, because if he gets himself a new crew and everything, like his own Bellamy Pirates or something, I would look at that and be like, there you go. Now you're following the right person this time, Like, you will do the good things. You'll be a good guy. That's, what you need to do, Because you're not really so bad, Bellamy. You're a really good guy. Um, and with Bond, it's kind of not exactly the same way, but with Bond, though, Bond was already like, technically he wasn't really much of a bad guy. It was more like he, was under, like he was basically working for a crime syndicate is what he was doing with Crocodile and all that kind of stuff. Like Bond was doing all that. But as a character in general, he wasn't really that bad. Bond was really like a good guy. He really cared for, friendship very much. And that's all he ever longed for. He just longed for, seeing good friends and everything, whether it be his crewmates, the Straw Hats, or any of the people that he's met and has, good bonds with. He would be like, oh, it's like, well, I mean, you guys are good people and everything. You basically treated me food. You did a lot of stuff to help me out. So I guess I could consider us friends and everything. You saved my life. So yeah, let's shake on it. Let's shake hands and everything, and have this be the true bond of friendship. And like basically everyone loved Bond. They almost thought he died for a second, but in all reality, he's not dead. So Bond's really a good character and everything. He's a good guy, So yeah, like basically make qualities like that where the characters will legit be actually playable and stuff. Which I hope, even in this route that Bellamy and Bond will be playable. Because if they will, I'll be like, yes, because then I would be like, finally, after literally like a couple of games, I thought they weren't going to be playable, but they are, so that's good. Yeah, so I'm actually like impressed that they did that and stuff. Like, I'll be impressed that if they do that and everything, like Bellamy somehow makes a spot in the roster somewhere, and that would be good because Bellamy's got a whole lot of potential that no one's ever realized. Like, he's got a lot. Bond is the same way, like a lot of moves he's got in store and everything that they can either make up or they can use the ones that he already has and everything and make it to where he's a really good character to play. But, you know, it's just like basically like I already said before, if it was some characters that we haven't really seen much potential yet, like Foxy or somebody else, some of them I would give out a maybe really because it's like, well, who knows? We might see them again in the story. They might pull off more than what we've seen them do before in this like in the story. Or it's like one of those ones where it's like, yeah, we see them once, but then we never see them again. Like they're gone for good. We're never hearing about those guys again. And, you know, like if that ever happens and everything where we get some of them as NPCs and it's like, well, it's like you make a good point on why they're not playable because or that they are either NPCs or that they're just not playable or something, which goes down the NPC route if you want, like if you think about that. But basically doing all that and everything, I would understand some of them, but for some that should have been playable, like I give off a maybe. Maybe they should have made them playable. Like give them a little credit. Don't put them in the shadows. Okay, like flat out let them come out and let their time shine too. But moving, to Law and everything, he's got some really good moves and everything. Like he's really I think they changed out his moveset from, the two games before. And I think they made him really probably overpowered and everything. Like he was a bit overpowered in the third game and stuff, except, that would only work if you were in the room or something, or like yeah, if you were in the room with all the enemies and everything, you would be able to do all that and stuff. But, if you were like yeah, but if you basically were like, just fighting regularly, I don't think you would be able to win. But in the fourth one, I don't know if they're gonna make room to be like, huge or something, like make it a lot bigger. But if they do, that's gonna be pretty cool. That's showing a sign that yeah, training has happened and people have gotten stronger. So who knows really? But yeah, but this will be the end of the video right here because I just saw the new news and everything just earlier and I thought like, hey, video discussion time and stuff. Plus, kind of going on a success rant that I called that out like 3 days ago in the last one. Um, so yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below on your thoughts on the newest. Well, technically they kind of are new characters for that game, But as for the whole Pirate Warrior series in general, they're really not new. Like, they've been in there before. But still, like, basically, what is your thoughts on all four of them and everything? And what would you want, what would you want them to, like, to either put in as, like, new moves or something? Or, possibly will they do costume changes and stuff? Like, are they working on that too? We may never know. But leave a comment down below about your thoughts about that. But this will, but I'll be signing out here and everything, so I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will hope to see you on the next video when there's more content rolling in. Bye!